What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another Manchester City video, where today we're going to be doing my preview of Manchester City's semi-final FA Cup clash against Nottingham Forest at Wembley. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. Social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below, including your score and team prediction for this game. And finally, I want to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by Kitbag, where you guys can go and check out the Manchester City away shirt for the 2024-2025 season, available for less than £20. You'll see it advertised on the website for £20, and if you use code PAYDAY, all one word in block capitals, that will give you an additional 10% off your order, which will take the shirt down to just £18, which is a fantastic deal. So do go and check it out. That offer is only valid over this weekend. So links and details there in the description. Remember, use code PAYDAY on checkout, and that will get you an additional 10% off, taking the shirt down to £18. So match information for this game taking place at Wembley Stadium, Nottingham Forest in the east end of Wembley, the boring end, Manchester City in the fun west end, as you do get the better pubs and bars. This taking place in the FA Cup for the semi-final on Sunday 27th of April 2025, with a 4:30 PM BST kickoff time, with the game being broadcast live here in the UK on ITV1. Anyone heading down to Wembley, enjoy yourselves, you'll be in for a treat. So our opponents, Nottingham Forest, formed all the way back in 1865, led by manager Nuno Espirito Santo, currently find themselves fourth in the Premier League. They've got a game in hand on Manchester City, where they take on Brentford next Thursday at the City Ground. They've got to win to go over us. They're well in this Champions League qualification race for 5th and above in the Premier League, but this is all about the FA Cup. They beat Luton Town 2-0 at home in the third round. They beat Exeter City on penalties after drawing their game 2-2 away from home in the fourth round and winning 4-2 on penalties. They get to the fifth round. They take on Ipswich Town in the Premier League. They draw that game 1-1. That goes to penalties, and that finishes 5-4 on penalties to Nottingham Forest, sending them into the quarter-final, where they drew a game. They drew away against Brighton and Hove Albion, with Nottingham Forest winning on penalties by 4-3. So my conclusion here is Manchester City don't want to let this game go to penalties. Now, this is Nottingham Forest's second appearance at the new Wembley. First one in the FA Cup since 1991, I think, 34 years ago. They've not played at Wembley in the FA Cup since then. They have played at this new Wembley only once. That was back in 2022, where they won the Championship playoff final against Huddersfield Town. And Nottingham Forest fans very excited. They're going to be backed by a sellout crowd, with over 34,000 Nottingham Forest fans making their way down from the East Midlands for this game. In terms of Nottingham Forest form, well, they won their last game against Tottenham Hotspur away from home 1-0 in the Premier League on Monday. Does mean they've had an extra day's rest on Manchester City. They've won 3 of their last 6 games since beating Manchester City 1-0 at the City Ground back in March. They've got 1 draw in the FA Cup, 2 losses and 3 wins. Form's gone a little inconsistent, and with all the teams around them now chasing their Champions League spots, finding their form is why Nottingham Forest have very much been dragged into this Champions League race. But they need to try and maximise their season with a big final push, where they've still got the capabilities of qualifying into the Champions League and winning the most prestigious domestic cup competition in the world in the FA Cup. Literally an outstanding season from Nottingham Forest, and if Nuno Espirito Santo doesn't win Manager of the Season, then something seriously has gone wrong. Now, in terms of dangers for Manchester City to be wary of from Nottingham Forest. Whilst the Wembley pitch is big, it's not going to be easy. Nottingham Forest are going to sit very tight. So the players like Aina, Mario, Milinkovic, Williams, these are the players that are going to cause problems. Sel's having a fantastic season in goal as well. These are where the dangers are. These are the players that City have to try and find half a yard of space on, and got to, when they're given their opportunity, be clinical in front of goal. Got some creativity through the likes of Morgan, Gibbs-White, Alanga, Hudson-Odoi. Chris Wood's having a very good season as well. So they've got lots of offensive players that can cause Manchester City problems on set pieces, on counter-attacks. And if City aren't going to be clinical and Nottingham Forest are, they will win this game. And Nottingham Forest are a team here that are going to sit deep, keep things nice and close. And if Forest score first, City will find this game even more difficult than it will. And I'll tell you right now, Nottingham Forest would probably be more than happy to 0-0 this through the first 90 minutes into extra time, and then taking it right to penalties, where they're going to back themselves because they've already won 3 penalty shootouts in the FA Cup. So this isn't going to be easy for Manchester City by any stretch of the imagination. Now, I think Nottingham Forest are going to have everybody available for this game. The big question mark about any player that will be starting this game is Ola Aina, but it's believed that he is fit. So I'm expecting Forest to line up with a 4-2-3-1 formation. Sells in goal, Aina, Milinkovic, Murillo and Williams as their back four. In midfield, Dominguez, Anderson, Gibbs-White. You've got Alanga on one side, Hudson-Odoi on the other, the goal scorer of the only game in that match between Nottingham Forest and Manchester City back in March, and Chris Wood starting up top. That is the same team that beat Manchester City at the City Ground, and if all players are fit, why would you change a winning recipe? I don't see Forest changing things. Now, for Manchester City, formed in 1894, led by manager Pep Guardiola, City also going to be backed by over 30,000 fans. Not managed to sell out their allocation of 36,000 fans, as you do get given a bigger allocation in the West End. I'm not too sure as to why Manchester City didn't give Nottingham Forest a couple of extra 1,000 tickets. They normally give them up in the third tier to sell Wembley out, as I believe Manchester City have got maybe 1,000 or 2,000 empty seats. So everyone's going to be on empty seat brigade. I don't know why Man City haven't just segregated their sale, and if anything looks like it's not going to sell out, release the tickets to Nottingham Forest, who would have taken up them empty seats. But Manchester City don't have to do that. It's just I would have. I just don't really see the point in seeing loads of empty seats up in the third tier in particular, and we know Forest fans have already bought tickets from third-party outlets who are going to be in the Manchester City end, and if Nottingham Forest end up getting things going their way, things are going to kick off again, and we're going to have a problem again. So yeah, anyway, City, third in the Premier League in terms of the FA Cup. We beat Salford City 8-0 at home in the third round. Went down to London, took on Leyton Orient away from home in the fourth round. We beat them by 2-1. It meant we played Championship outfit Plymouth Argyle, who knocked out Liverpool in the fourth round. We beat them by 3-1 in the fifth round at the Etihad Stadium before we took on AFC Bournemouth, our first Premier League team in the Cup competition this season, away from home. Real tricky game. We went 1-0 behind. Fantastic second half. Nico O'Reilly, the hero for Manchester City. We won that game by 2-1, and through we go to the semi-final, where we take on a very difficult outfit in Nottingham Forest. Now, in terms of City's form, 16 wins in our last 35, won 7 of our last 11, unbeaten in our last 7 games in all competitions. We've won our last 3 games as well, all against informed teams. Informed Crystal Palace, get out, 5-2 Manchester City at home. In form, Everton away from home, 2-0 out the ballpark. Took on Aston Villa, really in form. Everyone was fearing them. What's the fear? When you got Mateo Nunes popping up in the last minute, winning that game by 2-1. City not making easy work of teams, but they're doing what they need to do, and they're grinding really hard. And this is something I expect from Manchester City in the business end of the season, and it's that fight and desire and that willingness to do the extra bit to win games and timing things to perfection. I do think that the introductions of James McAtee and Nico O'Reilly getting more minutes has really helped to refresh the side and make them just look a step sharper, has really helped Manchester City over the last month or so. So it'll be really interesting now to see how Nottingham Forest try and contain Manchester City now that we're just starting to find our feet. And on that big Wembley pitch, Man City are very experienced at the Etihad South at Wembley Stadium. So Nottingham Forest are going to have to put in a 10 out of 10 performance, but for City to win this game, it's also going to need a 10 out of 10 performance. Now, in terms of injury news for Manchester City, Oscar Bobb, he's out injured again. He's He's going to be out for a couple of weeks, could still make the squad for the end of the season, but we're getting to a point here where I just want Oscar Bobb to be fit, and to be honest, I'd just write the season off for him and just say, work on your fitness and recovery and come back stronger in August. If I'm being completely honest, I don't really see the point in rushing him back at this late stage. Ederson's nearing a comeback, but this game is too soon. Erling Haaland isn't far behind either, but does sound like he's a couple of weeks away. It sounds like Ederson may be fit for our next game, and Erling Haaland maybe 2 or 3 games away, and I think City's aim here is to try and get Ederson and Haaland fit for the FA Cup final, should we get there. Rodri doesn't sound that far away either. He's training around the team, but I reckon still we're looking at 4 to 6 weeks away. Might make the end of the Premier League season. I imagine the aim for City will be for Rodri to maybe make the bench against Fulham and give him maybe 10 or 15 minutes to come on, and might even get some minutes against Bournemouth in the penultimate game. We'll have to wait and see. It all depends on how far away they are. Manuel, Akanji and Phil Foden are of course now fit. We could see Echeverry make the squad. Vitor could make the squad as well, but still not heard any word on Nathan Ake and John Stone, so I'm not too sure how fit they are. So I'm going to pop up my team prediction now. Ortega will start in goal. I don't change anything at the back. I go Mateo, Nunes, Ruben, Diaz, Josko, Gvardiol, Nico, O'Reilly. In midfield for me, I go Nico, Gonzalez, Mateo, Kovacic and Bernardo, Silva. I go Marmoush on one side. I'm going Doku on the other. I'd like to go with Kevin De Bruyne, but I sense Phil Foden's going to get minutes, so I think he's going to start and lead the line, and he's going to have Marmoush and Doku operating right next to him, and you'll have the midfield just trying to pack itself in, which is why I've gone with Bernardo over Ilkay Gundogan here, because they could well end up moving one of Marmoush more into the centre, and if that does happen, you need more width, and Bernardo Silva could be that width, and you can get the overlaps from Nunes, you can get O'Reilly causing problems through midfield, he can stretch the pitch. You go with Doku, you've got an out-and-out winger, a pacey winger who could cause Ola Aina some problems, so Doku looked really good coming off the bench, maybe a better impact player rather than a player who should be starting the game, but I just thought that Doku did some magic in that game right at the end, and for that deserves to start, so I start him. So it does mean Gundogan unlucky, Kevin De Bruyne doesn't end up starting, I think he's a little unlucky as well. Savinho could end up featuring, maybe starting in this game as well. Defence picks itself, Ortega in goal picks itself, and I think that team won't be too far off what Pep Guardiola does end up going for. In terms of my score prediction, I think City have to score first. I think City will score first. I don't think this will be a classic game of football. I don't think it will be a very entertaining game of football. I think it will be Manchester City doing enough. So I'm going Manchester City 2, Nottingham Forest 0. I'm going Manchester City to score first in the first half through Bernardo Silva, and then in the second half I'm going Phil Foden to wrap things up as Nottingham Forest last 15-20 minutes come out to play. City find the space and punish them, going 2-0 Manchester City, and for us to qualify for a third consecutive year to the FA Cup final. Now, in terms of my betting tips, I can see this game being a little naff, so I'm not going to back both teams to score for this one. A close game, a massive pitch, City dominating the ball. Question is, can Forest find the counter-attack? If they can, I can see someone like an Alanga or a Gibbs-White or Hudson-Odoi potentially doing something. So I reckon if they were to find a goal, it'll go through Hudson-Odoi. So I'd back him if you were going to go both teams to score here with Hudson-Odoi to score or assist any time. I think Nottingham Forest will be happy to try and keep things really close and take this one to penalties. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Nottingham Forest aren't going to take this one to penalties. So that could be a really good bet to back as well. Things to finish level after full time and extra time. This game goes to penalties, and Nottingham Forest have been really good on penalties, so I do hope that City have been working on that. So just something to think about. Now, next up, Nottingham Forest take on Brentford at home on Thursday in their game in hand. I'll take them into match day number 35, and then they've got another game away from home against Crystal Palace on Monday night. For Manchester City, we're playing on Friday night in match day 35 at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League. Now, last note, no live watch along unfortunately for this game, but I will be back with my reaction on Monday and giving all of my thoughts from this match as well. So do stick around and stay tuned for that. So there we go. That has been today's video. If you did enjoy this video, do leave a thumbs up. That would be much appreciated. Get your thoughts in the comments below. Also, don't forget as well to subscribe to my channel. It is free. free to subscribe. Also, don't forget as well to go and check out my social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And also don't forget to go and check out Kitbag, today's video sponsor, where you can go and check out the Manchester City away shirt for this season that you can get for just £18. You heard that right, £18. Just use code PAYDAY, all one word in block capitals, on checkout. You'll get an extra 10% off the price, which the price set at £20, 10% of that's £2, so it takes the shirt down to £18. A bargain, a brilliant deal. Do go and check it out. Links and details there in the description, and a big thank you to Kitbag for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you all again real soon for the next Manchester City video. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.